On the 19th of October 2025, Paris moved to its usual rhythm. Tourists crowded around the glass pyramid, guides waved their flags, and cafes buzzed with political arguments. No one could have imagined that this would be the day of one of the boldest and costliest cultural crimes in modern French history. Around noon, a truck with a lifting platform drove up to the Louvre, of the kind used by maintenance workers to replace lighting or carry out facade repairs. 4 men in work uniforms stepped onto the platform. Nothing suspicious. For a museum serviced daily, such a scene appeared completely ordinary. Minutes later, it stopped being ordinary. After reaching a vulnerable window of the Galerie d'Apollon, the very gallery where France's royal regalia are kept, the intruders smashed the display cases and removed 8 irreplaceable objects in a matter of minutes. Jewels from the Napoleonic era, ornaments belonging to Empress Eugénie, and rare stones tied to the symbolic history of the French state. The total value of the stolen items is estimated at approximately 100 million euros. 100 million is not a statistic. It is the measure of a cultural blow. How history can be stolen in 7 minutes. The timeline borders on the unbelievable. The thieves spent less than 8 minutes inside the museum. They moved quickly, precisely, as though rehearsing every step. They shattered the glass, took exactly what they came for, descended on the platform, and vanished. The most disturbing detail: the theft occurred during regular opening hours, when the museum was crowded with visitors and patrolled by armed military personnel. The Louvre, the largest museum in the world, visited by tens of thousands every day, proved utterly defenseless against 4 men with tools. One of the crowns was damaged so severely that its restoration is now referred to as a symbolic project. Symbolism, however, cannot disguise a harsher truth. None of the stolen objects have been recovered. Several suspects were detained in the following weeks, some attempting to leave France. Investigators believe the group included individuals with experience in private security and criminal networks. But the central question remains unanswered. Where are the relics? Not a single item has been returned. For the first time in decades, France faces the possibility of an irreversible loss of part of its cultural heritage. To grasp the depth of the failure, one need only look at the internal reports compiled shortly after the theft. Reports that confirm what museum employees had been warning about for years. They describe the following: decades of chronic underfunding of security systems, outdated equipment, cameras that did not cover all galleries, vulnerable windows and access points, security protocols that failed to account for the risks of the 21st century. The Louvre relied too long on its prestige instead of implementing the necessary technical protections for its collection. A nation that regularly demands the return of artworks from former colonies has now lost its own royal regalia due to broken management logic and weakened infrastructure. The French Minister of Culture, Rachida Dati, who has held office since the 11th of January 2024, delivered an unexpectedly direct and unambiguous statement. She admitted that the Louvre had underestimated the threat of theft for years, neglected to modernize its surveillance systems, and ignored experts' warnings. It is a rare moment when a minister openly acknowledges a failure inherited from previous administrations, yet she now bears responsibility for its consequences. The museum's director, Laurence Descartes, who has led the Louvre since the 1st of September 2021, attempted to take responsibility and submitted her resignation. The ministry refused to accept it. The reason is clear: A resignation now would resemble escape, not leadership. Instead, Descartes has been tasked with overseeing a sweeping reorganization. At a moment when trust in the institution has been shaken and its reputational damage is immense. The paradox of the Louvre. Too many people, too little protection. The Louvre has long existed at the limits of its physical capacity. In ordinary years, it receives around 9 million visitors. During peak season, the museum resembles a vast railway terminal. Queues, dense crowds, overburdened galleries, exhausted staff. The daily admission cap of 30,000 visitors is often exceeded simply because demand far outweighs the museum's capacity. Amid this constant pressure, security slipped to the margins of institutional attention. And ultimately, the museum that welcomes more visitors than any other in the world failed to protect 8 foundational objects of national history. Now, the Louvre plans to install new barriers, reinforce windows, modernize its cameras, and overhaul its control systems.